Welcome to the Deucecast Extra. We are live on a Tuesday night, as we are every week, to talk about whatever Star Wars, Marvel, Yellowstone, and anywhere in between is happening in geekdom, as it's so lovingly called. Joining us, as always, we'll go around the horn, talk about what we did to Extra this week. So I'm just going to go in order of on screen for me. So that would be Brian. How's it going, buddy? How did you Extra this week, my friend?
Well, this week was all about the long game for me. For about the past year, I have been watching a YouTube channel called The Hardest Geezer. A guy named Russ Cook from the UK ran the entire length of Africa, and every few days a YouTube video would show up of him running like 3 or 4 ultra marathons every day in a row for like 300 and something days. So it's crazy. It was amazing. So this past week, he finished in Tunisia, and it was all. And so that was. I mean, I must have watched 200 videos, and like this last one was like the ultimate finish for Mr. Cook, and he of course broke all kinds of world records for the most marathons in a row. But it was all on YouTube, and I really enjoyed it. So
surely he takes some breaks, right? I mean,
not really. I mean, he got really sick.
I'm excited to see Annette Bening play him in a few years.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. It'll be good.
His best friend is Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
Yes. So check that out. It was good stuff. But
so how many episodes would you say that was?
Well over 200 episodes.
Oh my gosh!
But I started at the beginning. I found.
Oh, you went back and started at the beginning.
Well, no, I've been watching him since he started.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So did you know of the guy, or how did you come upon the knowledge of that show starting?
This is also super nerdy geek extra. I found his channel through a group called the Geo Wizard, or Geo Guesser is a game.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this guy called the Geo Wizard, and he is British, and so Russ Cook was on his show, and I was like, they do crazy missions, and they can. He knows geography very well, so they do missions like they'll run across the entire width of like Norway in a straight line, and just do weird challenging weird things. So it's YouTube, So YouTube, that's how I found Russ Cook, and I think you guys might enjoy it. Just watch the last episode.
That's interesting. It's good. See, my problem is my kids are using my YouTube account also, and so it's just all their junk, and so I can't ever find the good stuff. It's just all the algorithm just feeds me the junk that they watch.
Michael, there's a search bar.
So I'm gonna have to try and change the algorithm and
I think you can make a new profile type of deal within that same account.
I know,
right? Yeah, that's true.
Just type in "show me the good junk."
I don't have. That's something you want to type in on YouTube.
And don't type in "hardest geezer." Honestly, I don't know if that's the best thing to type in.
I'll put it in the chat here in a minute. You'll love it.
I hear you. That sounds fun. I might watch it. I don't know if I'll watch all 200.
Just watch the last episode and you'll see the recap. It's good.
Yeah, definitely. Garrison, how did you Extra this week?
First, Brian, have you seen Rainbolt? Do you know who Rainbolt is?
No, that sounds interesting.
He's a GeoGuessr guy.
Let's look it up.
He is insane. Anyway, what I did this week, there's so much to choose from. I literally watched a bunch of geeky movies in the past week.
Oh, yes, you have been.
But I think I'd be remiss to not talk about starting this tome, as I guess you would say.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Can you hold it up a little bit? The name I see Brandon Sanderson.
Way of Kings.
My lord!
Page book.
Is this this was one of his first ones, right? Or is this a new one?
No, but it's his first in his epic series. It started in 2010. This is like his epic series.
Yeah.
Not connected to the other stuff.
It is connected. So all of his fantasy stuff that doesn't mention Earth is connected.
Okay.
In the Cosmere, as they call it. That's the name for the universe.
Gotcha.
But they don't take place on the same planet. So currently
it's all Mormon stuff.
They don't intersect. There's just kind of minor things here or there that kind of pop up.
Right.
Maybe even characters that somehow end up on the same characters, but on different planets. We don't really fully understand. Well, I think there's some.
Michael, that thing was that's called a book. I don't know if you've ever seen that. There it is.
So once I finish that,
I laugh, sir.
I have to read these other
I'll wait for the
gigantic
miniseries.
sequels, as well
I
as
don't-
2 novellas that
My
exist.
gosh.
I'll wait for the
And then the
Benahoff
fifth book.
and what's his name
fifth-
miniseries TV series. What's the
fifth
fifth one?
book comes out this December.
Oh,
Are you going to be able to finish all of those before December?
I'm hoping.
Okay. That's the goal. That's the goal, at
Yeah.
least. I don't know. Brandon Sanderson may be the most difficult thing to adapt to a television or movie. I don't know if it'll ever actually happen.
Oh, really?
He said on his podcast that I think in 22 he had people on a stage in miscloaks. Like actors on
Wow.
what do you call it? Doing screen tests in miscloaks.
Oh, okay.
So like real people, real actors doing screen tests, and it only fell through due to the strikes.
Okay. Well, maybe it'll happen.
so-
I
then.
mean,
I
if
don't
they
know.
could film
They're
Foundation,
trying.
they can.
Yeah, exactly. This is true, Earl. You're right. All right, Earl. How did you extra this week, my friend?
Michael, I feel like I'm going to steal yours. Should I go?
You
somewhere?
won't. You won't steal mine. I know you
Well,
won't. Go ahead. You won't steal it.
I think we were at the same event, though.
No,
but
that's okay. It's not.
All right.
That's not my extra.
So me and Michael know some guys that started a band. I don't know, what was that?
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Oh, God. Well, longer than that, I think. But
And they have, they were getting close. I mean, if they had just gone a little bit further, they were getting some traction locally.
okay.
Come on, Michael, you know that's true. I mean,
I don't. When you say getting close, like I don't know.
well, okay,
Okay.
but they obviously scattered to the four winds, but they came back for a reunion concert this weekend.
Yes, it was.
It was great. We got to see a bunch of people from sort of old worlds
Old circles
and
Yep.
old
Mhm.
circles.
Yep.
Everybody knew the songs and was singing along.
Yep.
It
was fun.
Yeah, so it was just a fun time.
I was trying to figure.
It was so good to see Michael enjoying live music. That was my moment.
It's been a minute. I don't do it. I do it more often, not as often as I used to.
He used to be the concert guy.
Oh man, I would go to
And my
at least
wingman
one
used
a
to be
month.
my wingman.
One a month, yeah. And it was fun being at that venue. I had not been there since 2016. I think I figured out, or maybe even before that. It had been a minute.
I love
the
that place.
venue. The venue had shut down too. And
the venue
new
had
owners.
shut down, and
New
this is
ownership.
new owners. They refurbed it.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of kept the stage about the same, which I guess that's, expensive to refurb all that. So they didn't do too much.
It's a lot
to
of
that,
metal.
but-
A lot of metal. It's a nice. It's a nice area. I mean,
No, it's not a nice area of town.
No. I meant the
the venue
configuration,
inside. Yes,
the
yes.
venue,
The
the
venue
venue.
inside is fine. No,
I mean,
not
it's not that bad of an area, Michael. The town.
It's bad. It's not a good area.
Guys,
All right.
No, go to
Guys,
North Birmingham, dude.
All right. Yeah, I
Guys.
know you're right.
Anyway, that's our extra.
Unreliable breaking news. The in my opinion, unreliable website, Real World of Real or whatever it's called.
Well, they're pretty reliable, but what's the breaking
They're
news?
not that reliable, Mikey. That Sam Raimi is in talks to direct Spider-Man 4, but not the Spider-Man 4 you think, the Tom Holland Spider-Man 4.
Interesting.
Fair.
I was wondering because they need
You did good on that.
They need a director for that, like sooner rather than later. So
I mean, I would love it.
Good
I think
choice.
that's-
No, I think it's
What?
Whoa.
the hell?
Roth, your
What?
mic's full. Your mic just like blew up.
speak.
Now try it.
I thought he put on a voice effect.
Oh, okay. He's gonna come back. Yeah. So let's break that down. I mean, so if he doesn't do the Rami style, then I don't know. I don't know if I need that for a Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Raimi, sir.
Raimi,
Yeah, it's
whatever. Raimi. So I don't know. I don't know how I
I think
feel
he's
about
a
it.
brilliant choice to direct Spider-Man.
I mean,
He's a great director, but I don't want too much of his Raimi-isms like
Well, he
flowing
did
Wait,
through.
Spider-Man.
you don't want too much of his Raimi?
dude, he
or
did
you
Spider-Man
do?
before.
Not the Tom Holland version, though.
Well, it's the same thing, right?
No, it's not. It's a very different vibe. It's a very different vibe.
But
Well, but this Spider-Man is supposed to be in the maturing kind of part of his of his career,
Sure.
and really it's kind of where Toby was in his first two films, kind of entering adulthood in college. This is where Holland's Spider-Man should be. I think it's a good choice. You just got to pair them with the right screenwriters, and they've got the same ones from before that should be kind of carrying the story forward. So,
Okay.
I did not. I
Jacob,
don't think those
extra.
first 3 Spider-Man movies are that good.
Oh,
get out.
oh! You
Spider-Man
want me to
2 is
stick
one
him
of
out?
the
No.
greatest superhero
No,
films of
Spider-Man
all
2
time.
is just. Ugh.
Get out of here.
What?
Get
That's the
out of
best
here.
one.
That's
Oh
literally,
my gosh.
that was my like. Not only was it my childhood, I
Oh.
revisit it, and I'm still like, damn, that's great.
It's okay. We all
Let
have
me
our
see what I
opinion.
gave it on Letterboxd because I watched it recently.
Man,
Damn,
75.
you got
Coming
Doc
into-
Ock?
I gave it a 75. So it's not.
that's it sounds
I
to me
didn't
like
hate it,
you liked
but
it. You didn't hate it.
It's people like Garrison out there gave it
Oh.
5 stars.
Oh,
Well,
Yes.
It was amazing.
it's a good movie. I mean, it's
I just it's so I don't know. I just didn't care for it. And I don't care for the first one either. I mean, it's
Oh,
fine. Like
man.
it's like a well-made movie. It's just Tom Holland's better. I
mean,
gave
you
the
got-
I gave the original
You got
Spider-Man a
Macho Man
65.
Randy Savage in it.
No, man, Randy Savage. Come on,
I don't care for Toby as Spider in those movies.
that's fair.
All right.
That's fair. All right. Anyways, how
I
did you
think Garrison
extra,
does,
Roth?
So.
I extra'd. I was kind of struggling to come up with something, but the girlfriend and I have created a list on Letterboxd of movies that she has not seen that she needs to see, and movies that I have not seen that I need to see.
Could be a very long
We've got
list.
61 movies.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that's,
wow.
hey,
List.
that's probably a long
And
list.
you did them
And-
all this weekend.
Thanks to
No.
Letterboxd Shuffle, we have started and it landed on Star Wars, so we watched Star Wars on Sunday night.
Yes.
Yes, that's kind
Mhm.
of that's like kind of
Mhm.
what now. What format did you watch it in? Just Disney Plus.
Just Disney Plus.
Oh,
Just Disney Plus.
You watched
Like
the
the-
McClunky edit.
I
Let's
did watch the
go.
Clunky
clunky edit. I
clunky edit.
think they look better on Disney Plus than they do the Blu-rays.
Oh,
What about the 4K or the
Yeah.
laser disc?
Well,
Well,
the
the
Disney
laser
Plus,
disc.
the Disney Plus. So just to break this
Yep.
out, I know nerdy stuff about every single cut of Star Wars.
No, you're
Yep.
good.
Those were
You're
made to be 4K cuts, so they should look better generally
Yep.
than the Blu-rays.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yep.
They were made for the
And-
3D re-releases when Phantom Menace came out, and then they canceled all the rest. That was what it was made for, really.
They're also the 4K, if I'm remembering correctly, the 4K releases on physical do not have Ultra HD color stuff, right?
They do
It's
not have
only on
Dolby
Disney Plus.
Vision. They don't
Yeah,
have
Dolby
Dolby
Vision.
Vision. So Dolby
That's what it
Vision
was.
is 12-bit color. HDR is 10-bit color.
Wow.
And standard televisions are 8-bit color. So you're just talking about having wider color ranges there, which
Yep.
you can more color space to work with.
That's amazing.
Yep. So that's why I go with the Disney Plus version.
And
So
I
these
don't.
actually-
And I don't know that. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say this is really, really nerdy here, but they estimate film prints to have about 16-bit of color worth of information on them. So
I was
I've
going to
also
say.
heard-
I
Go ahead, Mike.
was going to just real quick. I was going to say that I don't think Lucasfilm will ever release a Dolby Vision version of those films on 4K. I don't think they'll. Do
oh
that.
no, well the Disney locks those behind a paywall anyway.
Yeah,
That's what they do.
So,
And
anyway.
Garrison, I was also wondering. I've heard that like what you're streaming like on Disney Plus, even with AT&T fiber to your best TV, is not. It's still compressed.
Right.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that's about internet speeds, really. I mean, you're not gonna stream a 100 gig version of a film, which is what's on the 4K disc or 66, whatever.
Mhm.
You're going to be streaming about at 4K. You're going to be streaming about I'd say anywhere between 15 to 25 gigs of film,
Mhm.
which is pretty healthy. I mean, that's probably more internet than you realize you're using.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
yeah, you're not touching. That's almost 4 times more on the disc.
Yeah.
Okay, nerds. All right. So Jacob, what did your girlfriend think of the movie? That's what I want to know.
She liked it. She'd seen it before. I don't.
Oh,
she
okay.
doesn't know
Oh, so
which
this
one
was your
she has
first time
seen.
watching
It was
it then.
Jacob who
Yeah,
had
yeah.
not
It's
seen it.
Jacob's
That's right.
first time
Yeah.
watching it. Okay.
Wait, what?
I think she said that she watched it at some point last year, but didn't really pay much.
We're
very
saying
close
episode
attention.
4, right? We're talking real,
Yes,
the
yes,
real
Star
first
Wars.
Star. Okay.
The
So-
real Star
Yes, well,
Real
yes.
first
Well,
Star
some
Wars.
people start with episode 1.
No,
you
no,
know.
no.
That's true. That's
Here's
true.
how I'm going to do 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6. I'm doing machete.
Yeah, that's
Oh, do it.
machete.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
machete. Yeah.
but I'm keeping one in. I think Machete is
That's
cutting
that's
one.
super
4, 5, 1, 2,
trendy of
3,
you,
6.
but I hear you.
I like it. I've done it before, and I enjoy that
Wait, it's
way
4,
of
5.
telling the story.
I prefer 4,
Four-
5, 6, 1, 2, 3, but
4,
I-
5,
He's
1,
also-
2, 3, 6.
He's also
I
reading
love
The
that.
Magician's Nephew before The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
He's making his own version.
Yeah.
But so what we've decided is that we've got a few different series on here, including, unfortunately, Twilight. So when one of those movies come up in the first position, we have to watch the first one, and then we'll just take the first
you
one
know,
off.
I had to watch all of
Mhm.
those.
Well, I know
because
that's part of the reason why I'm
they're on
like
the box
more
office
okay
list.
with it, so I can.
How many
knock
are
off the
there? Is
box
it like
office.
5
There's
or
5. There's
Four.
5 of. Oh yeah,
I've
No,
never
there's
seen it.
5. There's 5.
They split the
Five?
last.
The last one's 2 parts.
I thought it was
Breaking-
4 book. Oh well,
Breaking
3
Dawn
books
Part
and 4
one.
movies.
Maybe it's
one
4.
was split in 2, right?
I think it's
Yeah,
four.
I'm looking at it right
Breaking Dawn.
now. It's 5.
It's 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Twilight,
Eclipse, New Moon, Breaking Dawn.
and
Part
Breaking
1 and
Dawn's
2.
2 movies. Part 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 5.
Ah.
Gosh, why are we talking about Twilight? I only watched
Michael, how
so,
did you exit?
one of the Twilights, not all of them, but one of them was on that Letterboxd box office list.
Yep.
So I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna watch
And it's one of
one.
the last ones.
Yeah, it's
of
one
a
of the last ones. I
series,
think it's Breaking
yeah.
Dawn Part 1, maybe.
So I just watched all of them, and it's
Mhm.
yes, sad. So, but real quick, my extra, I watched Star Wars original cut.
Oh yes.
Well, maybe there's debate there, but original cut. I watched it on Laserdisc, which I had to get up 4 times to watch it that way because you have to flip the Laserdisc.
yeah.
So it's basically
Hopefully good cuts, good spots for you.
it's 2.5 laser discs because the rest of it's supplemental stuff, which
Mhm.
supplemental on Laserdisc is really interesting. There was some good George Lucas interviews on there from like back in the day, so that was cool to watch that.
That's cool.
And then they have this like scan feature where it's still photography and you just scan and look at old behind the scenes pictures of them working on all the models and stuff like
I
that.
bet that was cool.
Wow.
There was some there's some cool extras on those laser discs.
I wonder if those have been captured anywhere. Like,
Oh yeah, they're on YouTube. They're all on YouTube.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Brian, I've got about 3 or 4 different captures if you want.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
was
all that
just curious.
stuff. Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
wow, I'd really like to see some of that because every once
The
in a while,
message that
they've been-
Garrison
Mhm.
sent about the original
Yeah.
cut was sent after I had watched the Disney Plus one. Because if it was sent before, I probably would have been DMing Garrison.
the best thing about this, and I hadn't seen this scene in a really long time, was Han just shooting first and Greedo not getting a shot off. That was awesome.
Right.
I mean, it's because in '97 the special
Unshoots
editions
only.
they added
shooting,
added Greedo getting a shot off that went
And
right by his head.
They move
yeah.
on.
Digitally moved Han.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
they digitally move on, which was horrible. And then now, of course, they've added McClunky even in that scene.
McClunky.
And what about the human Jabba the Hutt guy, the stand-in?
Well, no, that was never in a. That was
They cut
never.
it.
Yeah,
They
it's a
cut it
deleted
for
scene.
It was
Yeah,
in
that's
the
a
book.
deleted-
The whole scene's in the book.
In fact, I dislike that edition. We can get into a whole episode of just talking about the Star Wars cuts.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I
them.
dislike
There's a
that
lot more than
edition.
people are
Scrap the
imagining.
rest of the show. We're doing Star
Dislike that Jabba edition purely because it reiterates things that we've already heard in the film to that point. So it feels like a
Yeah.
totally pointless scene at that point in the film.
And that-
And it's tacked back. It was tacked back on in '97. So
Yeah. There's even cut like different theatrical cuts with different scores, like different there's variants from early screenings of the scores. So there's like way more cuts than you can ever imagine of that movie.
We've got about every audio source you can get.
Yeah.
That's been preserved by somebody at this point. So,
Right,
including
right.
the mono, which was pretty hard to find.
Oh, that's
So.
interesting. Okay. So yeah, Laserdisc. I guess it was last year or the year before that. I bought some guy's Laserdisc collection
last year.
and his Laserdisc player.
Mhm.
Because I mean, those are actually hard to find. I mean, they're
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
going to be.
they're kind of
vintage for you.
pricey. So I'm glad that I was able to get it. It's a good one. It's a Pioneer, so it's a pretty good,
Oh,
and
that's
it's still
solid.
kicking, man. I mean, it's still
I can't believe
functioning perfectly.
Horseman sold that to you.
I don't know what their situation
Like-
was, but
like, why
man,
would
he
they
sold
give him-
his whole collection to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Well, I take so David had Star Wars. We made a trade recently, and I got where it belongs. It's in a home it belongs in, because it would never have been watched in David's home.
Well, and it
No.
doesn't
would have
belong
just
in
been-
David's because he's on record saying multiple times that original Star Wars is not good.
Right, he's been saying that a lot lately. I don't know why he says that.
Really?
Michael,
Yes.
for all the
And then-
vintage hardware and media, check out. There's a YouTube guy named Techmoan, and he has like all the
Yes.
reel-to-reel. It's
Yes.
one of
Oh,
my favorite
cool.
channels. You would love it.
I love
Techno.
he's got a video where he was it like San Andreas or something. He
Oh,
found it
okay.
he found it on VCD and on UHD, and like was showing off the kind of
Yes,
the
all this
wide
specialized
disparity of
equipment.
formats.
San Andreas, the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, like rock
Yeah,
movie.
With The Rock?
The Rock movie.
And
yeah.
Daddario.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Daddario.
Da.
Okay. I guess we're here to talk
Yeah,
about
we should probably
Bad
get started.
Batch. I guess
Yeah,
we're
let's
here to
get
talk
rolling.
about. We're 20 minutes in, and
I
we
mean,
haven't
let's
even
see.
started
talked
talking about
about-
Bad Batch. So let's talk about
It's about a 5-minute.
Juggernaut, which it's only a 23-minute episode, and that's including credits. So I mean, it's not that long of an episode. So this season has been a little bit more frustrating to me than I thought it was going to be, because this is the second. I'm not going to call it a filler episode,
Some
but
are.
it's the here's a person you need to go talk to so you can find out where Tantus is. Like, this is like the second round
Yes.
of that,
Mhm.
and it's a little bit like, okay, I'm sure, great, Rampart's back, whatever, but I mean,
And then they don't ever have any answers. They're like, well, then you need to go to talk to this person.
right, then you need to go talk to this person and get. So it's going back to some of the tropes that Bad Batch has been sort of criticized about, which is like some of these filler. No, it's not filler. It's not filler.
You
How
But-
about setup?
That's what I heard.
Setup
Setup
episodes.
these
It's a
setup
setup
episodes, but that's just my initial take on. Brian, what did you think about this episode?
I had to go. It's like it's been so long since we saw Rampart, or that I was like, "Who's
Yeah.
this dude again?" And I
Yeah.
was like,
Right.
"Oh no, Fee is back!" And
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Right?
how are they
Yes.
going to get off this planet? Okay, here's this convenient way, and now we're going to go do this. And then, have we done a million train robbery episodes
Wow.
on the
Yeah.
edge of a cliff?
Yeah, no, but this was awesome. The Juggernaut
Yeah,
was so sick.
I mean, I like.
Yeah, it was
Anyway,
it was pretty cool, actually.
I'd maybe a 5 out of 10 for me.
Okay, that's
That's
fair.
fair. That's fair.
That's fair.
Garrison.
I've had it.
Garrison, what did you?
So like this is Jacob's Spider-Man 2, I guess, and for me I'm the opposite.
Or
So-
my last week's X-Men episode. You guys are all
Well,
like,
oh
"This
yeah,
is
last
awesome."
week's yeah.
I was like, this episode.
No,
sucked.
that wasn't
Episode 4,
That wasn't
episode
that
4,
great.
yeah.
Yeah, compared to this
Um,
week. But anyway, we'll get to it.
It's the first time I wouldn't say I dislike it. Again, sort of like Jacob's Spider-Man thing, but it's probably my least favorite episode of this entire season. And it just, like you said, I mean, we're just kind of going to the side and kind of dragging things out a little bit. And in those, so television shows, when they used to be 22 episodes, let's get into that a tiny second.
Oh yeah.
They would sometimes divert and go in and do other story arcs that aren't,
Sure.
Sure.
tied into the overall story arc. But usually you'd get like progression of the character, or they would still learn things that would be important to even things ahead of time with the overall story arc. Maybe they'd gain something that would help them with the overall story arc. And I think that there's a little bit of that in this episode, but really ultimately I just was kind of like, until you get to Echo at the end, I was just kind of like, I don't really care about most of this. There's
You
some
mean
cool,
Omega at the end?
Yes, sorry. God,
Okay.
I said that.
I was like, Echo was in this? Did I
I'm
miss
like,
that?
oh shit!
I was just like, wait a minute. He means Omega.
Yeah. Until you get to Omega at the end and she gets locked in the
Right.
room with the kids, I really
Yeah.
didn't care about most of this episode.
Hmm.
It's just kind of like,
Wow.
okay, let's find this guy. There's some cool action here or there. Oh, look. Oh, there's some interesting things happening. Omega's potentially going to get answers here. Boom, locked in a room. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
interested in that.
Now,
where are
I
we gonna
mean,
go from
Yeah.
that being said, animation top notch. Like
Oh.
all of it top notch
This
animation.
show has been stellar top to
The
bottom
music-
for animation.
Music,
Music,
solid.
yep,
Yeah.
music
Kinder's
solid,
It's
animation
gorgeous.
top notch.
Yep.
Kinder's
Dr.
great.
Earl,
Don't be
Nightcrawler.
influenced by the mob, Dr. Earl.
No, I'm not going to be influenced by the mob. Let me say the things I liked, the things I didn't. I actually liked when Fee took the ship and she dropped it and then
Yeah.
she kicked it in at the last minute. Like I I
Yeah.
kind of liked Fee in this episode because she
Mhm.
just didn't talk much and wasn't super annoying and just well, I'm just being honest. And
Right.
she's changed a little. They've changed her a little bit, and then it was like,
Yeah.
I'm dropping you, and bye, and then she comes back at the end, but for the last minute rescue. So I like that. I didn't love the thing with Omega at the end. It was like, I'm going to show you the reason. And we start going through all these these scanners.
Well, they do that every time though to get.
And I'm thinking, is there going to be something really cool? And then all of a sudden, it's just those kids, and I was like, oh, it's the kids.
What do you mean, just those? Those are Jedi.
No, they're not Jedi. They're force sensitive.
But we've already seen them.
Yeah,
I was thinking it was going to be like a prototype of Snoke or something.
I thought the same.
I was waiting for something really cool, and all of a
You
sudden
were
I'm
waiting
like,
for something like
oh, we're just back in the room
menagerie.
with those three kids, and we did a whole episode with them. I don't know. It wasn't like my favorite episode by any means. I didn't hate it, but I agree with a little bit with Garrison and Brian that this was not my, not my favorite episode. So
and me, I didn't love this episode either. But it appears that Roth loved this.
Loved
episode.
Well, I wouldn't say loved, but I enjoyed it. Like I think this is a
some action
episode. It's not a. The story is being moved forward. It's just being moved forward at a slower pace than
slow
snail's pace.
I did like I like the race on the cliff a little bit and throwing the guys off.
Maybe it's just like I was such a child of the prequels that like seeing the juggernauts and like action like this was so awesome.
Okay.
The stuff with Fee was awesome with the ship going in through.
He's a good
that
pilot.
was very cool. I like that we got like this Bad Batch back together and that like the guy that we can't remember his name, Deadshot, Sniper Man, Crosshair.
No, I call him Bloodsport. I don't know what. Trigger happy.
9904.
Yeah, 9904.
Yeah.
You'll probably be able to remember that.
PT99.
I like having these three Bad Batchers back together
they're kind of
working well, and like it's fun to see this well-oiled machine that they are, even without tech. So I enjoyed all of that. The Omega stuff, I was definitely with Dr. Earl there expecting a bigger reveal than the reveal that we've already had, that they have force sensitive kids. I think that's obviously just setting up for the Bad Batch are breaking her out. She's going to be breaking out as well with these kids with their help, and is going to kind of teach
they
them
all
how to
die
fight.
in a fiery explosion.
That would also be fine with me.
Therein lies the end of the clones.
I would love Star Wars to go so hard on stuff like that.
On a kid's show.
That's why there's no more clones.
They're afraid to do that in this show.
Yeah.
Except for tech.
I got to go back to the Sly Doc here. Remember what Sylvester Stallone said? In this type of storytelling, you don't want to see the heroes lose. The heroes shouldn't lose. The heroes should always win at the end.
I'm not saying lose, but it's okay to like kill off a couple of them.
Well, but there's no clones when you get to episode 4, right?
So, says who?
We don't know that for sure.
Well,
says who?
I mean, we've retconned it, obviously, but
my Rebels
DK book,
clearly.
A DK book says that.
My DK book said that.
Chuck Wendig had something to say about that, did he?
Chucky Wendig. Yeah. No,
I this is Brian's question time. Do we
Yes.
still think there's another room in that area?
There's like 2 others.
Yeah, there's different
With,
areas
like,
there,
more
right?
Jedi.
Yeah,
So
there's different areas.
One way out. One way out.
Yeah, they're in there building parts for the Death Star, or there's a weird animal in there.
Yeah, they got the Zilla monster in there somewhere, don't they?
Yeah. There's all kinds of other rooms in Tantus. Tantus is,
they've got a whole mountain they've built.
It's a big mountain. Yeah.
Oh, there's got to be some mystery. That's what I was thinking. We're going to get a new mystery. Like that would have been cool if she'd walked in. And
now I was just like Hunter. I was a bit frustrated with Crosshair and him saying,
"Yeah, like dude.
Oh yeah, like I maybe know where somebody is that might know how to get to Tantus." I was like a bit frustrated.
Looked like Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, he was.
He was trembling.
Jacob, no.
Well, he was. He's like that's a place I never want to go back to.
Well, he wasn't nervous. It was his PTSD coming back.
It was his PTSD.
He didn't like to think about Tantus.
He's thinking about Tantus. It's his PTSD coming back.
He's got to go meditate.
So, he needs to. Yeah, he doesn't have Omega there to help him meditate. He can't do it on his own. So yeah, I was just like, really, we're gonna do this again, and so really the only other character that they could have pulled from for this was Rampart. So they did the only thing that they could have really done is go to, oh, let's go break Rampart out because he might know how to get to Tantus.
Wait, there's a big monster attacking us. We got to fight it. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll be very honest. I do not remember what Rampart looks like.
Yeah.
Without the beard.
Well, he was the big bad in season 2.
Oh, for sure. I remember the character. Could not tell you what he looked like.
He was. I forget why he got sent to prison, but he didn't. Something.
What I do like, he's like Hitler's right hand man. Like he made the idea of the chain codes. Like he is he's like the implementer of the empire of the good stuff.
He was important, but he apparently is deemed a traitor to the Empire. So,
and why? I don't remember why he's a traitor to the Empire.
He flipped on somebody or something. I don't know. I can't remember what happened with that. That was so many seasons ago. I can't remember.
I thought he botched a job or something, right? And they demoted him.
Oh no. Palpatine used Rampart as a patsy for Tapoka City's destruction.
That's right.
Those poor tapiokans.
Thank you at comicbookresources.com.
Comic book resources. Yep. Yeah. So, a couple other things that I think of note in the episode. There was more M count talk and how Omega, her blood, is the only binder that can be used, and that there had been many failures before. So that's interesting that her blood works really well with people that are force sensitive. So yet again, I feel good that she's not going to be a force sensitive character. I think we're finally definitively can say that Omega is not going to be a force sensitive character.
Unless they donate some blood to her, and then all of a sudden she's like, I've got M count blood. Maybe they're gonna form a. I'm just kidding.
I hope,
let's bleed one of the kids.
Dr. Earl.
Yeah, bleed one of the kids.
Who's the weakest?
Dr. Earl.
They're gonna put leeches on all the kids and then take the leeches off and put them on Omega.
Yeah, exactly.
Brian. Yes, Brian.
So, Dr. Earl, what would be the implication of giving blood every day of your life? Like these kids have.
Well, these are just quick samples.
Yeah,
but it's a lot. I mean, if they're doing it every day, I don't know why they're doing it every day. That's crazy to me.
And this is space technology. It's not like you're going to be having like bruises on the veins and stuff.
Yeah. This is all very.
Yeah, Brian. You wouldn't want to take it every single day, I don't think. But
yeah, and we don't really know
people in the hospital that give little vials every day. As you're there for the hospitalization, but your blood count will go down. I mean, it will drop some. And if you do it every day, you might just be, I don't know.
We still didn't see the little baby Jedi that they captured. There's still no sign of that baby Jedi. Not Jedi.
Oh yeah, the one that was in the box, Cad Bane.
Yeah, the one that alien has not been incorporated into this group of kids yet.
Is Grogu about to show up at this point?
Man.
I don't see why not. I mean, they need to tie this in.
Is this the last season of Bad Batch, or are they going to do another?
Yes, it is. This is the last season. Now, that's not to say that there won't be a spin-off show from this.
Kill them all. I'm just kidding.
There could be a spin-off show.
The next series is called Bad Batch and Grogu. It'll be the second movie we see in theaters.
Versus Cad Bane.
There could just be an Omega-centric show.
Yes.
No, thank you.
Star Wars Omega.
Not a fan.
Star Wars Omega and
Boba. Yes, I like the
Tech and Omega. Yeah, that's no, Tech's dead. Tech is dead.
He's not. Okay.
No, Tech. I still think that Tech is maybe Clone X.
Maybe.
I think
I kind of do too.
That's going to be
Rex.
Super,
not Rex.
Old brown eyes.
Brutal. No, it's not Rex. It's not Rex.
Commander Cody. No, I don't know.
No, it's yeah, exactly. We got the whenever Fee's on screen, she has to mention Tech for a second. I mean, there's
nothing.
The love of her life. The love of her
brown
life.
Eyes.
Yeah, exactly. So how many episodes of this thing we got left? Is there only 2 left?
Look,
Three?
I
There's a
don't
lot
remember.
left. There's 2
I'm
left.
pulling it up.
Yeah.
I think it's 2 or 3.
The
2 or
seasons
3.
were generally 16, but I think
3.
they cut this one a little
Into
bit.
the
But-
breach, flash strike, and the cavalry has arrived.
Now, typically
The cavalry has arrived.
after a slow burn
On your
like
left,
this-
Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Typically after a slow burn like this, don't we usually get like 3 bangers? Like in a
Yeah,
row?
I think
Like,
so. I think they're
the rest
gonna
of them all the
end.
way out.
I
Earl's
think
calling
they're
his
gonna-
shot.
I'm saying
They're going to end the season. Well,
I'm
wait,
saying-
no. We have to go one place. We have to go one more place first, though. Remember, because Rampart's like, I know this other. We got to go this other place first before we can get to Tannis.
there's a guy named Mandalorian we got to go meet with.
Oh, whoa! There's this guy Dinjarin I know that we need to go.
Dinjarin.
go meet with.
There's this baby Dinjarin that I know.
Yeah, this
Right,
baby
that's-
Dinjarin, exactly.
No, that's going to be resolved in like 3 minutes at the most.
Do you think they let
Yeah.
Rampart go after, or does he just go off? Or does he die, or does he go off into the ether and hide
He'll
out?
join the team or something. I don't know. He'll become
He'll become a
part
bad
of
batch.
the Bad Batch. He'll become an official, an honorary
like-
Bad Batch.
I'm a
Look at
pro
some-
clone person now.
Right.
Yeah, he feels
He'll
bad
be-
for what happened on.
He'll be
Kamino.
redeemed and join the team. And
But he'll be the one to die, though. He'll take the hit and sacrifice
Right.
himself.
I don't know, man.
It's hard to
yeah,
know.
I
don't
think
think
we've got at least one more episode before it gets really, really good. I think that like I think the
Okay,
penultimate
that's fair.
and the finale will be good. So we've got this one more episode to actually find the guy that can get them to Tannis, and then once we get to Tannis, then it'll go all out.
Garrison, are
Um,
you about to get on that bike again?
Then we'll get
No,
Rex.
no.
We'll get Rex and Echo back together, and the whole team back together. I think Wolf is going to have to flip.
Yes.
Wolf's going to flip and get all his battalion of clones that are on Tannis will flip, and then it'll just be and then Darth Vader will come and wipe them all out.
Fight, brothers. Fight for your freedom.
I'd be okay
Hey, we're
with
not
that.
very far away from Tales of the Empire. We're going to get that
May the 4th.
May 4th.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
Oh,
How many? Three
And I
just
think I was
episodes?
wrong.
I mean, I don't celebrate the holiday myself.
I think I was
No,
wrong
I don't
with
either.
that.
I'm an
an
Orthodox Star
Orthodox.
Wars fan.
Well, yeah, Orthodox Star Wars fan. I think it
Distilled
is.
from the
I think
great
it is
Scott
going to be
Rudin.
the same model as the last one was. I think it is going to be 6 episodes. I speculated that it was only going to be 2 episodes, but I think it's 6. So I think we're getting 3 and 3 of both stories. Like Elspeth will have 3, and Barisoff
Morgan.
will have 3 or whatever.
Morgan Elsbeth?
Yeah.
Yeah, her origin.
Did you not
story.
watch
Yep.
that trailer?
I
yet?
haven't seen the trailer yet. No, I haven't
Oh
seen it.
man, it's a pretty good
Yeah.
trailer actually.
It's kind of how
I think
It looks
General
like we're-
Grievous is in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
he is in it. Yeah.
Flashback.
Yeah, flashback.
flashback
Well,
to
sure.
how she got that cool little compound and the Beskar and all that stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
speaking of, do we think Asajj is going to come back this season? Is she going to
Mm.
show up at the end to help the clones?
I am here to help the clones.
Because they've got to set up her spinoff.
Infinite
They've got to
Shan.
set up. They've got to set up the Asajj spinoff series that's going to happen
No.
because she's super popular
Please.
again.
Oh, Filoni, stop, dude. Come on.
He's got to keep those animators working, man. You got to keep going with the
Yeah.
animated series.
I
Hey,
understand.
the Ugnaught comedy specials will be coming on next.
Oh yeah, there was an Ugnaught in this. There was a little funny Ugnaught.
I mean, come on. It's just like we can't give every character a show. We
The
just-
Ugnaught.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Podcast of the Wheels.
What's up?
Um,
Only 3 left.
dude, why can't we get an Ugnaught show? What if Tales of the Ugnaught? That's what I want.
there we go.
Tales
What's
of the
what's
Ugnaught.
Quill? Let's have a flashback to Quill.
Hey, do you like how Star
I have
Trek
spoken.
09 basically copied Star Wars and added a little funny character with Scotty? That was blatant copying of Star Wars.
Yes, it was.
Don't know what you're talking about. I don't speak nerd.
Oh, the movie.
Star Trek 09 is really good.
It's actually a pretty good
you-
film, but it's a
No,
Star
is it the
Wars
J.J.
movie.
Abrams one?
The
Okay, I've
J.J.
seen that
Abrams,
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I've seen that
Okay.
one.
Scotty had
what's
that
Star
little
Trek
dude
09?
hanging out with him.
I don't remember it well enough to.
Why
know
do we
what
call
to
it Star
talk
Trek
about, so.
09? You're talking about the Kelvin timeline?
Well, that's
Yeah.
just when it came out, Star Trek 2009.
Oh.
Sorry, just to differentiate from.
You're
the
talking
motion
about
picture.
the one with Chris Pine and
Yeah.
I love
and
that
Chris
movie.
Hemsworth.
That's a great
It's
Star Trek.
excellent.
That's right.
It's
Yeah,
easily
but
my favorite. One of my
the
favorites.
blatantly
best of
copied.
Kelvin.
Scotty had an Ugnaught, basically. I mean, that's basically what that character was.
Scotty
was an
doesn't know.
Scotty doesn't.
He doesn't know what Ugnaughts are.
Ha ha ha.
Thank you, Garrison.
ha.
That was a pretty good one. Thank you.
Garrison's having snack time over there.
Hey, do you have a snack for all of us?
We're getting basically a tour of Garrison's house.
I know, like every.
I'm gonna eat an apple.
Every
it'll be
week.
good.
What is that?
Pop-Tart.
Crunchy.
Oh, Pop-Tart. Hey,
I don't know what that is. I've never
I
seen that.
heard-
Unmute yourself.
What
and
is
tell
the
me what that
crunchy
is.
Pop-Tart?
I
What is
heard
that?
your dad lamenting that they might get rid of the miniature Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, he doesn't like these crunchy ones, so I'm eating them.
The crunchy ones are good.
Crunchy Pop-Tart.
I've
never
never
had a
even heard of
Pop-Tart.
those.
My mind is.
Really good. They don't have them in
Can I
Wyoming.
see one?
We make sure that they don't go to
Let me
Wyoming.
see one
We don't
before you-
send them over. We don't export to Wyoming.
What in the world?
It's
What
like
is
you're
that
eating candy for breakfast.
I've
It
never
looks
seen
like-
that in my
it
entire
looks like
life.
a Tootsie Roll. Are you drinking out of? Are you drinking? What is that you're drinking?
They're called
Oh.
poppers.
He's
Pop-Tart
drinking
popper.
eggnog in April.
Crunchy poppers. Eggnog. In a Snow White cup.
Are you
That's
drinking
pretty
milk?
bougie of you. The classic Snow White cup.
Got
Oh,
that from
man.
Mom's antique cabinet.
I'm sorry that
Is
we've
he drinking-
interrupted your snack time, Garrison.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Garrison.
our
Hey,
bad,
we're just
Garrison.
doing a show here,
I'm
Garrison. That's
drinking
all.
2% milk.
This
yeah.
is like going out live, you know.
Is that because you
Just
think
let
you're fat? If you wanted to, you could be drinking whole milk.
it-
I don't want the other
Oat
98%.
milk only.
He's drinking
that's, a,
rib.
that's a great Napoleon Dynamite quote there, Jacob. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about the good show.
Oh
Since
yeah.
it's
Oh
for-
wait. Well, I got to switch our branding. So we're done talking about Star Wars. Okay.
I mean, I
let's
don't
switch
know.
it. Switching the branding. Boom.
By the way, it's still a good show. I didn't mean to.
Listen.
Sorry,
Bad Batch.
podcast of the
Probably
Wills.
his
I
best
didn't
season.
mean to bust on it.
No. I like Bad Batch. We didn't bust on anything. But
This
episode
one.
5 of X-Men '97.
Insane.
Okay. What is this show? What is this episode rated as far as like? Is it
Triple X.
it's
TVPG.
TVPG? Now is that
Oh, man.
above TV 14? I don't know, like the different.
No, I would
Okay.
think not.
Good lord, they stretch the TVPG, don't they? I mean, good grief. There was all kinds of. There was a sexual innuendo
sexual
in this
thing going
episode.
on here. There
There was all
was
kinds of craziness in this
serious death toll.
serious death toll. 9.8 out of 10 on IMDb currently. That's user ratings, and well deserved. I mean,
I was not expecting this to be this good. I was like,
and the
oh my
pacing
gosh.
of it was so. There was so much that happened in the 37 minutes that was on this. Like they went at a breakneck speed, but a ton of crap happened. There was stuff going on back at Xavier's school, stuff going on Geonosia. I mean, it just absolutely wild.
It was like a giant-sized annual comic book because it was just full of
Really, it kind of was.
Yeah.
I was when I saw that it was 37 minutes, I was like, oh wow, there's going to be something going on in this episode. But I had no idea mid-season that they would do something like this. So I was pretty impressed with not Bo Williman. God, that's not his name. What's his name? Bo DeMaio or something?
DeMaio.
DeMaio. Yeah.
Bo DeMaio, yeah.
Yeah.
Wrote
DeMaio.
the whole thing by himself. I mean, it's yeah.
Oh, he did. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he had a writer's room, but yeah, he's credited as being the writer of it. But whatever that guy did and however bad he is to work with, at least we are getting the fruits of his labor with this episode. I mean, this is
So, do they get before I answer your next question, Mikey? Do they get approval from like Marvel to do things on these
Oh, yeah.
shows? Like the writers' room can come up with concepts, but they can't go, "Hey, we're going to kill this person," or like do they come up
So-
with these
No,
scenarios?
they have certain rules.
well, I
they
mean,
from-
I think
from
Garrison
Marvel?
can properly answer
Here's-
this question.
He-
So,
Like the
Garrison, is
Feige-
this show
I-
considered part of MCU canon, or is this canon adjacent?
well, that's what I was going to say. Is
Okay.
this is not a show that takes place within the MCU. I think these
Okay.
creators are kind of given free reign to do what they wanted, as long as the studio had liked it and it
Okay.
made
Okay.
sense.
Okay, so
Well,
yes,
okay.
like-
Well, let me ask you. Let me ask it a different way. Could
Okay.
this not be happening in a multiversal section of MCU canon?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But it's not something that the mainline movies would have to worry about until they get to something like
Until
Right.
then,
Secret
yeah.
Like,
Wars,
I
and
mean,
it probably wouldn't be that big a deal even
Right.
then.
Right.
so for any character that has been, unlived during this episode,
Decimated.
I mean,
Unlived.
decimated by a weird anyway, will they now not be able to appear in an MCU movie?
No.
No, they'll be
No.
fine now.
Yeah.
And do realize we have time people with like Cable
true.
and
Yeah, Cable.
Yeah, well, that's
what's the
another
other
thing
guy?
too. Is this we
Bishop.
talk about the deaths in this
Bishop,
episode,
Bishop.
and they're very impactful deaths. But this
Sure.
episode was also set up with a Cable appearance, with him coming back to prevent something. So I
Right.
think we're probably going to see
Failing
this event
miserably.
again.
Ooh.
Where he actually
Yes.
instead of failing,
I'd
he-
love a Groundhog Day episode revolved around Cable continually failing this event until he saves
until he
something.
finally gets it right. Yeah.
It's like, oh, sorry guys, I've been trying to do this for 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an old man. No.
So I guess we find out that this has been about a month since Madeline Pryor left the
Yeah.
school. I think they call out a month at some point. So she's been in Geonosa for a month.
Well,
and
Cyclops has been having an affair with her for a month or
Well,
something.
a psychic
a
sort of
psychic
affair.
affair.
Yes,
A
yes.
psychic affair.
How dare you?
This is
connect with him.
definitely not a show for kids. in
Dude,
some
there
way.
was so much melodrama in that realm. There was Magneto and Rogue.
I kind of
like-
love. There's a very soap opera feel to a lot
Sure.
of the
Yeah.
relationship dynamics, but I love that because, and I'm not a huge X-Men reader, but I know that that's a lot of what Chris Claremont infused into the X-Men writing when he was big on the comic, and he was big for a long time. I mean, he made the X-Men really.
Yeah, he
so I
did.
love that they're harkening back to his work with that stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of it felt familiar, right? Like it's like I should know who these people they are flashing by. Like I think I saw Dazzler for half a second.
You did.
There was who was the dude
lot
with
of-
the sideburns guy?
Well, that's Banshee, the Scottish guy who was sitting at the
Yeah.
table.
No, not the Scottish. There was a Scottish woman too, but then the dude with like the weird like mutton chops. Was that not?
Oh,
who
you're
that
talking
was?
about the guy in the suit. That's Banshee.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no, wait, no. He's
No, that's the Hellfire Club. That's Sebastian
Yeah.
Shaw.
yeah.
So
Not Stan, Shaw.
it felt this episode felt like a warm hug. Like I knew
Yes. Yes.
I was like,
And I
oh, I
love
know this from. Yeah, it was good stuff.
And Earl, I bet you saw like all kinds of characters you recognize, like as they were flashing by. Like, I mean, some of those classic X-Men characters. I know the main core, like Nightcrawler and Emma Frost. Like that's about as far. Like I don't know this Sebastian Shaw guy.
Well, so Sebastian Shaw is one of the Hellfire Club that
Okay.
Chris Claremont developed.
Now that's Stranger Things, right?
No.
Right, the Hellfire Club.
They
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
think about it. They probably
ripped
named
it off from
themselves
X-Men,
after that.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a
Oh,
total
for sure they
ripoff.
did.
Yeah, for sure.
And Emma Frost was the White Queen, and then
Yep.
and
I loved like her characterization is so perfect in this. Like she's just like the not nice woman. Like she's very like I can't say the B word, but that's basically what she
anchor.
Yeah, she's like that way, but I mean let's see, can we even like guess? I'm seeing if the voices, how many different voices we got.
I mean, Maura McTaggart is there.
Yeah.
She's sitting there with Banshee, which they're kind of an item, I think.
Well, Leech, we've seen
Moira.
Leech.
Actually, Moira
We've got
dated
18 different voice
Charles.
actors
Yeah,
that are not credited as just additional voices.
Okay, so that's okay.
Moira is important to Charles's story, really.
Yeah, that's
on
actually
the
true.
comics.
That's actually
Yeah.
true. That's
Yeah.
they dated. You're right.
I don't remember.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. So
or they
basically, the
They were
UN
lovers.
the UN is asking Magneto to come back to Geonosia and sort of run Geonosia is kind of like what I'm gathering is going on in this
No,
story.
that was the assembled council of mutants or whatever.
Oh, they asked him. Yeah, not the
not
UN
the
lady.
UN
Yeah, she was
lady
not happy.
Not super on board on that.
Yeah, she was not on board with it. That's right. Yeah, the council wanted him to come, and he said the only way he would do it would be if Rogue stayed as his queen, quote unquote. And she appeared to not. We thought she was going to do that, but in the end, she ended up saying, "I'm going to make out with you for a second, but I can't stay here as your queen."
Which
Yeah,
I'm
that
okay
little
with,
weird,
'cause-
sexy space dance she did was awesome.
To an actual Ace of Base song. Like they got
Yes.
the rights to an Ace of Base song from the timing of that. It was a song from 1992, and so I'm like, would they still be spinning that in the clubs in '97? Probably, I guess. I don't know, but I thought that was funny that they used a real world song in their club. That whole Geonosia thing's wild to me. Jacob, you haven't said much. What's your thoughts?
I was lost for lots of this episode. I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't have much of a connection to these characters, so
Right.
I'm just like, okay, this is happening,
Yeah.
and like I can see, like X-Men people probably really like this episode.
No worries, mon ami.
Monami. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was. Gosh, we haven't even
Gambit was
Gambit
mentioned
at all.
Gambit. He was like a huge part of this episode.
Golly. He had to, yeah.
Dude, so okay, so this master mold thing is from the past or from the future, I'm sorry. Like coming in and just decimating everyone, right? I mean,
well, I guess from the future, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant, the future. So Cable's coming in trying to warn them, hey, master mold, it said he's coming. I'm assuming that's
future past.
Days of future past.
Mm.
So that's
Already
who
been adapted, but
he's referring to. When he said he's coming, he was referring to Master Mold, right? I mean, he wasn't referring to any other character, right?
I don't know. That's a good
okay.
question. I mean, Mr. Sinister is definitely going to be a big part of the ending of this season. So maybe that's
I
a
don't
reference
remember
to that, but I feel
Mr.
like that's not.
Yeah, I
what
don't
he was
remember
referencing.
Mr. Sinister ever really being in and around the Sentinels much. Like I don't remember.
No.
Yeah,
Not
like separate
traditionally,
story.
not really.
No.
But this Master Mold thing, that was the first time I had not have being a reader of the comics.
Is that Master Mold? I don't even know.
No,
See,
That's
that's
what
I
it
don't
says
think
in the
so.
credits.
oh, okay.
Really?
Okay.
Master Mold and
I don't
and
know that much
Sentinels.
about Master Mold. I know.
So this one particular voice actor, Eric Bauza, is credited as Master Mold and Sentinels. So I assume Master Mold is the big thing, and the Sentinels are just
the other stuff flying around.
I don't know though. I mean, I'm just going off of IMDb, which we know is not always 100%.
It's always accurate.
I'm not sure. Yeah, were you just totally lost, Jacob, for this whole thing? Like, who are
Yeah,
these
kinda.
people? Who's that person?
Yeah,
mean, obviously there was the love triangle that flew in the bird. It was like poor Gambit had to go with Rogue, and it's like, why would they pick him to go along with Magneto? And
I know that was kind of I think Magneto was doing that on purpose. I think, but I mean,
well, I don't know.
Well, then there and Jean is still acting really weird. Obviously, she kissed Wolvie, and he's like, "You're supposed to be with Cyclops, not me." Said Scott and Jean, not Scott and whatever.
Yeah,
it's always Scott and Jean.
I'm gonna go be with Morph.
I really enjoyed that moment.
Yeah,
because the love triangle is such a big part of the story,
it
and
seems
about
like
every adaptation.
Several storylines of
X-Men.
love triangle. Yeah, it is. You're right. I mean,
and for Wolverine to be mature enough to say, there's clearly something there for him, but
right,
she and Cyclops are together, and she's just having a moment.
That was pretty big. That was pretty big.
Well, maybe Jean and Wolverine can just be together, and Cyclops and Madeline can just be together.
Oh, not anymore. Madeline's decimated.
Dead.
Yeah.
Well, I want to be with that clear mutant, the one with like the clear body. That was my favorite one. I was like,
yeah,
I want to go hang out with him.
Was that supposed to be the senator from the first? Or no, he was water. He turned into water. We did see a water character briefly.
Senator, this is pointless.
Robert Kelly or whatever.
Yeah,
his name
right.
was.
Yeah, we saw that water character, the water mutant, pop
No.
up for just
That
a
water
second.
character does show up in even some current runs of Star
With
Wars.
that clear
X-Men.
dude with the weird, you can see the interior
Yeah.
of his body,
And
the
he's
whole
got his
thing's so
eyes
funny.
like floating around.
His
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
There was definitely, and then there was even the storyline that I don't recall much is this subset of mutants that's sort of the lower tier mutants. What do they call them, Earl?
Morlocks or the
the Morlocks. What's the
little
story
guy.
with, like, sort of briefly?
So I'll be
the
honest.
Morlocks.
I was more of the Byrne Claremont era. This is getting that whole thing developed sort of in the 90s, but they're kind of like these subterranean
Right.
mutants that were kind of considered second class, sort of.
Right.
But
That's
now
what I
they're
was
accepted.
gathering.
But they were gathered up. They went to Genosha, or
Mhm.
is it Krakoa now? That's Krakoa.
No, it's
in the,
Geonosa. It's
It's
Geonosa.
No,
Geonosa
in the
in-
comics,
in the current
Krakoa
comics.
is a big part of.
Yeah.
the X-Men
Maybe in
lore.
the current comics, but in this show, it's Geonosa.
Mhm.
I think
I don't know
I think you're
why.
throwing an extra O in there. I think it's Genosha. You're
Genosha?
conflating
Genosha.
Geonosis and Genosha.
I'm thinking
Genosha.
salami, Genoa. I'm thinking that's what I really want.
Best
right now.
salami.
The best
Salami.
Yes,
Mm.
exactly.
What's
but-
Brad Pitt's character's name in Inglorious? Zalami.
Oh yes, that's right.
Is that Inglorious Bastard?
Yeah, Inglourious Basterds. Yeah. So yeah, but
Salami.
Leech seemed to be of the opinion that Magneto had promised to always protect the Morlocks, and he gave his best effort.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
ugh,
yeah,
He
man,
gave
he
some
was.
warning before he pulled
Here's
off.
a dumb question.
yeah.
Who are the Morlocks?
Well, that's what we were just talking about.
Well,
like,
the
they're the
characters that-
subterranean.
Okay, remember
like,
how Magneto put a bubble up around a bunch of people?
Yeah.
those were the Morlocks? Like,
Yeah,
Leech
but
was
like-
that
Morlock.
green character.
Who are them in like the grander scope? Not just that. I
No,
know who they were in this
know,
episode.
I know.
But
Just
Did you?
second tier mutants, basically.
Did you not
Yeah,
listen?
they're-
I was
but
just
they're
talking about it.
underground kind of mutants.
no,
Yeah.
I think I was. I don't know what I was thinking of.
To
Hold
me,
on,
I
they're
was
like-
not listening.
I'm gonna find. Listen. Here we go. Morlocks are a group of mutant characters are usually depicted as being. Well, that doesn't help you at all.
They're just subterranean
Okay.
mutant, like they're like lower
they're
class. I mean,
underground mutants.
Underground society of outcast mutants living
Yeah.
as tunnel dwellers in the
like mutants in
sewers.
and of themselves
Like,
are
they're-
outcasts. This is even more outcast.
Yeah,
well,
well,
they're-
they're,
Do they
I would
have
say-
different
I would say they're-
powers?
They're even
I don't think
outcasts
they
from
have
their own
many powers
kind,
at
kind
all.
of. is the point, but-
They've got some powers. Like originally, Mystique was a Morlock. She was part of the underground.
And we
group.
have not seen Mystique yet in this series.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She's not a
Maybe
true.
we have.
She was either
Well,
a
that's
villain. She was either a Morlock
She's
or a
Cyclops
villain
this
for
whole time.
years.
yeah.
And then there's a whole thing where she was Nightcrawler's mother. I mean, it got really complicated.
Oh yeah.
So,
It's gotten.
by the way,
really
you'd like
complicated.
Nightcrawler, Jacob. He's a Catholic priest.
I was
Catholic.
about to say, I think this episode rang a
said
bell
something.
because on YouTube I actually watched the whole arc of, it must have been the original run of when
Mhm.
they were like rescuing him or something, and there was this whole stuff about
Mhm.
Wolverine
monks.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
They referenced
was
that
cool.
in this episode.
Yeah.
They referenced the evil monks in this episode.
Yep.
If you actually, I rewatched X2 this past week. He mentions his Catholicism and his religion a ton in that movie.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
he does.
Um,
He does.
I think I'm gonna start
Oh.
my X-Men watch tonight.
He's like, my
Do it.
God. He speaks German. I love it.
Yeah,
Once
Mein
you
Gott.
get to
Gott in Himmel.
always watch the
And-
rogue cut of Days of Future Past?
I've never seen that, but I'm gonna watch that soon. Yeah, Days of Future
you
Past.
you bought it though, didn't you?
The
What's the
road
road
cut.
cut?
There's a rogue
Ahem.
cut of Days of Future Past.
Like it's about because Rogue was like cut out of the movie almost, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why did they
It
cut her out of the
is-
movie? I only ever saw her
Just-
in the movie.
So
Well,
actually, if you put Rogue back in the movie, it is the longest Fox Marvel film ever made at
You're
2
right.
hours and 28 minutes.
yeah,
Without her, it is 2 hours and 11 minutes.
yeah.
so
They
clearly
added. They
cut
took
out
a lot out.
18
Now, is
17,
this, like,
18 minutes of
available?
time.
It is. Yeah, you can buy the blue. Well, it's not available streaming.
Available
You can,
Okay.
digitally, not streaming. It's on Blu-ray, and I don't believe the 4K has it, which kind of was
it
like,
does
whoa.
not. It
Did
does
they
not
cut
have.
it just for time? Because I only ever remember seeing her in
Yes.
it. Like
They
I
kinda-
saw this in the
She
theater.
She's in it for a minute,
Well,
but
Well,
you
Well,
can
She may
rent
be
it
in a minor
on
role.
Amazon.
yeah, you can
I-
rent it, but you
Okay.
can't. It's not
Yeah,
like
that's okay.
like on a you
I
can
think
rent
it's
they
not on
cut
Disney
it
Plus,
for because they wanted to focus on Ellen, now Elliot Page's Kitty Pryde character more, I think, and
yes,
not have another sort of sidebar story.
Well, and
Yes.
wasn't and
Yes.
didn't Rogue kind of in those
That's right.
in the trilogy borrow from Kitty Pryde a lot?
Right. Yeah, they used some of her like she ended up having some abilities that Kitty Pryde traditionally would have, like going through walls and stuff. Like Kitty
no,
Pryde.
I
Rogue
don't-
can't do that.
no.
She can't do that.
No, it was. I think it was more
The story
her
arc,
relationship
right?
with Wolverine that they borrowed from Kitty
Oh,
Pryde or
okay.
something.
No, that's true because
That
it was
makes
more
sense.
about
Yeah.
about Kitty being the ingenue.
yeah.
When she
That,
first
that's
showed
what they
up.
borrowed for the trilogy, and I think that's why when they got to Days of Future Past, Days of Future Past felt like, not to get into this too much, it felt like here's we did some things wrong in the trilogy. Here's a make good on some of that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And then you get to the ending of the movie and everything's fine, and then
and
it
then-
sucks because you go to Apocalypse next.
Right. Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then Dark Phoenix just messes it up again. So
I like Dark Phoenix. I'm
It's-
sorry,
it's
Earl. I
okay.
like Dark.
no,
Phoenix.
and I shouldn't. I was okay with Dark Phoenix. It's
It's
not.
Dark
way
Phoenix
better
is
than
not good.
Apocalypse.
No,
It's
that
way
movie
better than Apocalypse.
stinks.
Have you seen it?
Yeah,
Dark Phoenix
I've seen
was
all of
way
these.
better than Apocalypse.
I've just only seen them all
It's
once.
no Morbius, but it's got moments.
Well, nothing is. Nothing can be.
Yeah, that's accurate. You are correct on that.
Greatest film to ever exist.
Just a quick question: the
Yeah.
was a tri-sentinel that looked back at Gambit? Was that the type of sentinel it was? I know.
It's like its
I don't
head.
think.
That's Master Mold, I guess.
Yeah.
So, well, that's
I don't think so.
yeah. I don't. Yeah.
I don't
Who's
know.
Master
that's-
Mold then?
Well, I don't know if
So
we've seen him
that-
yet, have we?
Oh, okay.
Tri-sentinels have 3 heads, and that thing that looked back at Gambit it was like bzz, bzz, bzz. It had 3 heads.
Okay. Yeah, no, that thing was
It
awesome.
was
and it
shooting
used,
all
and
different directions.
and it clearly had like bigger powers than regular Sentinels. Like those guns.
Well, it came from the future, right? Is that
Yes,
is that the idea
yes,
to
yes.
kill him?
Yep.
I just
and-
want to know who Master Mold is. Somebody look that up.
I'm looking at it and I don't understand it.
Oh, you don't understand what Master is? It just a character that maybe this guy voiced as
Maybe it's an AI program or
is
something.
he an X-Men or something?
Master Mold looks like a sentinel.
Yeah,
Oh,
but a
okay.
normal one, not the
Well,
not the.
Oh,
like a big
okay.
one.
A bigger.
the little one.
Okay. All right. So there is the Master Mold apparently is in this episode, but he's not the Trioculus. Sentinel. That's what I'm going to call
First
it.
Triclops.
appeared in X-Men
Triclops.
1516 in December 1965.
Golly, the X-Men have been around forever.
Mm-hmm. He was
so,
created by Bolivar Trask.
Yeah, he created.
Oh,
these.
yeah,
sense.
Trask,
Um,
Peter Dinklage.
so part of this,
Movies.
part of that stuff, that specific Sentinel stuff where the people are getting decimated, that's from Grant Morrison's X-Men run, is my understanding. The E for
Oh, wow.
Extinction
Yeah.
arc. So that's a
Yes.
real thing that happens in the
Yes.
comics. It's apparently a pretty
Yes.
devastating thing. I'm not a big Grant Morrison fan in terms of I'm a Flash fan, and I'm not a huge fan of the stuff he brought to the Flash. I don't think it's terrible. It's just
He
not-
did good with
But
the
anyway,
Green Lantern run, but it's strange. But
did he?
But to your point earlier, Garrison, with them introducing Cable, this could be a thing that
Yes.
they reverse really quickly. Like
Yeah,
Cable.
but they can do it in a really good way. They can do
Yeah.
it in a
Well, they don't have that
like
many episodes, but I mean, they might. They've
Yeah,
they've got
5
enough.
more episodes.
5
Yeah,
more
but
episodes and two
two
more
more
seasons.
seasons. Yeah,
2 more seasons. Yeah, at least 2 more seasons. So yeah, if they slow burn it, but because the next episode we're going to go back to more of this like Storm and whatever guy.
hanging out with
Howard
the
DeMeo
chicken.
said the real big story was his last 2 episodes or whatever, or last 3, whatever he said. So
Who what?
Are we going to get? Well, is Xavier going to get the team back? I mean,
I don't
Is
think
the
we're
X-Men-
seeing
if
Xavier.
Xavier shows
Without
up, it'll be at the end of the season or something.
Yeah, I don't know that we're getting Xavier back this. Maybe it'll be like like Earl said, he'll show up at the very end and he'll come in season 2 or something. Yeah.
and this is going to sound ridiculous because he's alive in the movies, right? After this 1997, I know, but
None
it's
of this.
not canon.
This is the
yeah, not
'97.
Zoom canon.
Because he died in 97, or supposedly, or 96 at the end of 96, right?
At the end of
And he's on the space station
whenever.
somewhere.
Yeah.
He's with
Well,
Alondria.
no, that's only in the well, yeah, I guess that does happen in the show, but I mean, I think they're leading us to believe that because they keep reiterating it at least one time in every episode that he's dead. I
He'll
think
show
the
back up at some
UN person said that in this episode. So
isn't he even in the lead in, like the beginning of the
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
they
in
changed
the
the
end.
episode.
Yeah.
The intro was different this time.
Was it?
Yeah,
Cable?
it's
It's
They've
intro.
changed the intros a few times.
Oh,
the
I didn't
intro
notice
has
that.
been slightly tweaking several episodes now.
Oh,
Yeah, I
you
didn't
got to
mention
watch
it
the
last
intro.
time.
The intro
I
is
just
going to
listened
tell
for the
you some
music.
things.
Okay, I need to pay attention.
Yeah, because Cable showed up in this intro, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there have been several tweaks to the intro throughout the series.
There was some
so
stuff
far.
with Madeline, Jean Grey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Dark
Okay,
Phoenix.
I
Yep.
need to pay
It's
better
something to
attention.
pay attention to for sure.
Nightcrawler, I think, was he in it?
Nightcrawler
too?
was in this one, I
He
think.
might have been.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler. I was bummed when Nightcrawler died. I was hoping that
No, he made it, right? I
He
thought
didn't die.
Oh, that's right. He said he's still breathing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
but
and
we
he's
don't
he's
really
in the trailer
singed.
too. So
Now I guess
Was-
what's his name
Gambit
died?
is gone.
Gambit died. Yeah,
Gambit is
dude,
way
that
dead.
was so awesome the way.
But he took him out. He took him out at the end, though. That was
said,
an awesome.
"Remember
that was a
my
good hero
name."
moment.
What did he say?
Yeah.
Remember.
remember
like
me.
that.
Remember it.
Or-
Remember me or something.
Yeah,
like
Remember
that.
it.
yeah,
Magneto's dead too, right?
Yeah, Magneto is dead.
Well, I
I
don't
guess
know if
more-
Magneto's dead. I have questions about that one.
Oh, I thought he.
One
We
thing
didn't see a
too
body.
is Nightcrawler.
You're right. We didn't see a body.
Nightcrawler could have been getting them out too. That we just didn't see it happen. But man, I love seeing Rogue go like hardcore. Like
She was
like,
mad, man. She was mad.
Now she survived, right?
She survived. So let's
Nightcrawler
see.
survived, but barely.
Madeline Pryor's dead. That's a
Yeah.
big death right there. Because
And it was all on the news. They were like watching, going, "Oh no!" And then,
yeah.
"Oh my!" Beast is like, "Oh my!" Or whatever.
Speaking of the news, how about Scott going off?
Scott going
Off
rogue,
script.
man.
He was
He
off
went-
script on that one.
He
He's
went
like,
way off.
We do all this stuff for you, and
That's right. You're the only reason.
Right.
We're the only reason you're still alive as a species.
Yeah,
Like
It's
throwing
like
his
going
headset
off.
I didn't
I
love
think
that.
I think Scott was letting his emotions get to him with everything
Yeah.
else going on.
Slightly. Yeah. Yeah. He
So-
went a little hard.
That's
on
not
that.
that wouldn't be a normal Scott moment.
No, that's definitely.
Well,
not
he
Scott.
was pretty whiny though in that, at least in the movies. I always felt like.
Well, but the movies are
way
not-
they
Why are you
not-
judging? Not the same thing.
I understand, but if the movies are portraying the character that way, I
No.
assume in the comics that he's portrayed
No.
that way a little bit.
Not at all.
He's not portrayed that way.
Well,
He's portrayed as a very stiff, like rigid rule follower
Yeah.
guy.
Hard butt.
Well,
However you say that.
yeah.
He, that
well, to me, this is more like I remember him from the original X-Men trilogy. I mean, this sort of like whiny, like
Well, first off,
complaining.
well, he
You don't
lost
even
his
remember him
baby
from the X-Men trilogy because he's barely in it.
Well, he is barely.
Yeah,
in it.
Michael.
My bad.
I watched X2. He disappears for a majority of the film, and I'm like,
Yes.
where's Cyclops? And then he dies at the beginning of 3.
No, he was sidelined for most of the.
I had in 90 whatever that was when the first movie came out. I had the toy, and
99.
like there was like a light behind his eye, and you flip
Oh,
the
yeah.
switch, and the light his eyes came out. It was really cool.
2000.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, 2000.
Yeah,
A long
Could
time.
tell that he was just not happy about being interviewed because the cameraman was like, "Can you take your glasses off?" He's like, "No, actually, I can't." It's just like,
Right.
It just like was.
but his-
Yeah, we're
bubbling.
getting a flash here.
But
Yeah.
his flashback, and I was like, why are they filming this flash? That was really cool. It was kind of clever. But the flashback, did they show?
No,
where
that
he-
wasn't a flashback. That was like a.
No,
Are
I
you
mean,
talking?
but didn't he have a flashback to his love for Jean, and where they?
No,
could
that
look
was
each
in.
other's eyes?
That was the
Was it-
mental. That was the mental romance that was going on with him and Madeline Pryor.
Okay,
That's what that was a flash to. And then
Well,
Jean butt in, and she
Well,
found out
well,
about it.
hmm
He stormed out of the interview, right?
Right.
So you're assuming he's upstairs with Gene, and then all of a
Right.
sudden Gene shows up, and I
Yeah.
guess he's
Whoops.
mentally away with Madeline
He's
Pryor.
mentally away with Madeline
and he's
Pryor.
like,
yeah.
I mean, look, that's the mother of his child.
He makes
So-
a good
so-
point.
the reason he's whiny, Michael, is because I mean that his child has been taken
Taken from
away,
Sure.
and so he's struggling with some emotions here.
I guess so. I guess
That's not a typical Scott thing.
He said, "I'm in love with both of you."
He's so lame. Who was the UN lady with the glasses?
I don't know what her name is.
She was one of the ones that Magneto took up into the air.
Yeah. I don't love a benevolent good Magneto that much. That's not my X-Men experience. I don't love long-haired Magneto that much.
Not my X-Men.
Not my X-Men.
Not my X-Men.
Not my long-haired Magneto.
He's the Fabio version of Magneto. He's always like his
flowing
chest
hair
is always out and his flowing hair.
I know it's
gross.
He's like,
we did get a flash to the concentration camps.
That was cool.
Oh yeah.
As he was about to die, I loved how they had those flashes.
We got the
you're just like
we got the backstory of basically. Okay, I'm glad I'm remembering this. So, are we to assume that Magneto was basically grooming Rogue, like since she was a young girl? Because that's what it felt like. Because she was talking about my mom knew this guy.
No,
her mom. Yes, her mom
really
took Rogue.
Maybe I need to watch that scene again.
Her mom took Rogue to Magneto because she thought Magneto could help Rogue. Rogue was young in that scene.
Like
and he's
grooming
like
was not a thing in the 90s, so
well, it is now though. So it just was weird.
Yeah, he was grooming her. That's pretty clear through the show.
Well, they made it clear that she was.
Yes.
But then he's like, I need you to be my queen, and she's like, no, and then she's like, well, okay, that sounds pretty good.
Let's have a sexy.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Things happen like the like he's in bed and she's out of the bed, and we're like, well, okay. We're going with the innuendo that they're
like smoking a cigarette.
Yeah. Like, oh, okay.
He's having a Holocaust dream in the bed, and she's like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was there was some interesting things.
It's
in this
adult
episode.
Focused. I don't know if I would. Yeah.
TVPG.
Yes.
With
let your kids watch the other X-Men shows.
Yeah, to let your kids watch the earlier X-Men show. I don't remember the X-Men show that came out in the 90s being quite like this. It may have been. I might not be remembering it fully.
No, this is definitely more mature.
Okay.
And look, the X-Men animated series could get mature in a sense.
Yeah.
But this is probably the furthest it's ever been pushed for this show.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's definitely some Bo Larimi or what's his name?
DeMayo.
Remy LeBeau.
Oh wait. I went to his Twitter timeline when he reactivated his account.
Yes.
And I had a jump scare. I scrolled down his timeline and it was just like a photo of him like a thong, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, there's something going on with that guy.
Yeah, why does he always post himself without his shirt off and
this is shirt and no pants? It was like,
whoa, he's really into himself.
There's something going on with that guy. He's a good writer. We can just leave it at that. He's a good writer. We don't need to go in.
He wanted this episode, the first 4 episodes, to be kind of a nostalgic 90s feel to them, like you were getting back into the animated series, and then you'd be hit with episode 5 with like a 9/11 type event.
Yeah,
it was a shock. I mean, people were crying on the reaction.
Well, I think some of those that's why I don't watch reaction videos.
I'm a little cynical about some reactions, but I know that some people are genuine too. So.
I guess there are some people that are very passionate about these characters, just like we're passionate about Star Wars characters.
And Morbius, yeah.
And Morbius, yes, exactly. I'm very passionate about just the Matt Smith character in that.
Why are we doing Fallout? Let's talk about Fallout.
There's other shows.
I need to start Fallout.
Oh man,
I've still only watched the premiere. I haven't had a chance to watch any of the other.
Second one.
I loved Fallout New Vegas. That was one of my favorite games.
It's one of those things. Like with me not being a gamer, I have no connection to any of these gamer shows that come out. Like I didn't care about Halo. I didn't care about this really. But I heard Halo was just a horrible show.
Yeah, it's not. I never watched it, but that's.
I don't even know how it got. I don't know how it got.
Die-hard Halo fans, they're like, "This is an abomination."
You know how it got a second season, Mikey?
No.
It was like a TNT show, so it cost like nothing.
No, it was Paramount Plus. was on Paramount
Bro,
Plus.
It was a cheaply put together show.
Yeah.
Sure.
it
No,
was-
you're right.
yeah.
It was cheaply put together. I see what you're saying, but I mean,
The best part, one of the reasons I love Fallout New Vegas so much is you get Ray Price music throughout the game.
Ray Price.
Mm-hmm.
Who's
Heartaches
Ray
by the Number.
Oh, that Ray. Okay.
Yeah,
Ray Price.
yeah.
Okay. I
It's
hear what you're
awesome.
saying.
Not Ray Park.
No, I
will
liked.
say,
Yeah,
this show
Ray
has
Parker
good
Jr.
music.
is
They
on
use a
it.
lot of good 40s
There you
music.
go.
Ray Parker Jr.
I liked the premiere of the episode. I liked the premiere of Fallout. I'll watch the series eventually, but right now I'm about to start a Robert Downey Jr. show called The Sympathizer because it's getting pretty good review.
Park Chan-wook.
Yeah, it's getting pretty good reviews, so I'm going to watch that premiere. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. So the thing that it's interesting. So a lot of, and this ties in to Fallout, a lot of rhetoric going on online right now is how people are really ticked off that Fallout dropped all its episodes at once because, and I think the tide is turning on this a bit because it doesn't leave time to talk about each of these episodes.
Well, for a business, first off, it makes no sense. I mean,
Yeah,
you
why
want
would
to
you not wanna-
maximize
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
You want them on your streaming service 12 weeks in a row. You don't want them binging over a weekend and then canceling your service the next month.
Like I don't have
Right.
Paramount Plus Showtime right now because the card that I put it on, I got a new card since I like, that number does it. So it ran out, and I was like, I don't need to renew this right now.
Yeah,
Nothing
you
on there
don't.
that I need to watch.
There's nothing. Not until November.
Yeah,
Really.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
I'm
that's
like,
when
So
Yellowstone
save a
comes
little
out.
money, buy a tux.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean, really, Disney should be staggering things like Bad Batch and X-Men first off, but secondly, or at least
Well,
a
yeah,
little
you're
more
right
than
about
they
that.
currently are. But
Mhm.
but secondly,
I was surprised
it-
Prime did
the-
that. That's not their thing usually.
Yeah,
Usually
the
not.
binge model.
Usually not.
The binge model. Usually, it's for shows that the studios don't believe in that
Mhm.
much.
Mm.
Yeah.
Which is surprising for a Jonathan Nolan vehicle, and I've seen a lot of good reactions to it actually.
Mhm.
Um,
As have
so
I.
yeah,
Usually
it's
I
like
saw that guy
I watched the
that's
second episode tonight.
the guy that has the big quote that's going around is the guy who did the Scott Pilgrim animated
Oh,
show
yeah.
for Netflix. He said the binge model it was just stupid to do because
Yeah.
you have no conversation. The conversation quickly dies off.
Right.
Mhm.
And
And
we're
then you're
talking about
done.
Fallout
It's
right
over.
now, but in 8 weeks, if we say something about it, you're gonna be like, "Oh man, I haven't thought about that in 8 weeks."
Right.
And,
You know,
Exactly.
that's
Like as shows like this are another thing that keep this in the conversation. It's hard to cover a show when it's a fully dropped binge.
Yeah.
Now I know that
I hate
maybe we're not
binge
bringing the
shows.
viewers to these shows, but
Yes, we are.
I hate binge shows for the fact that people just start posting about things that
Mhm.
happened in later episodes, and I'm
Right.
like, I'm trying to get to it, guys. Like, calm
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right, right.
exactly.
I think the
And-
balance there, really quickly, the Jack Ryan show where they dropped like half the season, and
Yeah.
then
That's
or-
usually
or-
what
Well,
Prime
and-
does. That's usually what Prime does. Yeah.
Like
Netflix
first
did.
3 or first 2 episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, Prime usually does first 3 and then weekly
Yeah.
after that. But
Yeah.
and same with Hulu. But Netflix, they started doing that with their bigger shows like Stranger Things. They split
Right.
it into 2, and guess what
Mhm.
happened? The hype and build up for the end of season 4 was
Big time.
massive.
Yeah.
Probably more
Yeah.
than
I
any
got
of
on
the other
board.
seasons.
I
Yeah.
watched all of Stranger Things
Mhm.
between that time.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
Wow.
wise of them to do that. And I'm sure they'll be doing that for the final season. They'll split it. They'll stretch because it's the final season. They'll stretch that out as long as they possibly can to get subscribers. But yeah, I mean, it made me hesitate. Like Rhett really is very much into Fallout and was encouraging me to watch it, encouraging our friend group to watch it. But when it's a binge like that, it makes me hesitate to even start it because I don't have time to binge like 8 episodes in a short period of time,
And you
so I
don't
don't get
have
spoiled. Well, if you have an online, if you're on social media, yes, you feel some sort of sense of urgency, like Garrison was talking about. I
Because
feel
people
a
will
sense of
spoil it.
urgency,
I see what
so
you
I don't want to get spoiled because
And
I watch like a lot of like rewatch show, and I just don't want to accidentally get spoiled.
and like for me at least, like if you haven't started a show or if you haven't like seen a show and you hear a spoiler about it, it doesn't affect you as much because it's so out of context that you don't know.
Right.
Like it doesn't spoil it for you nearly as much. Maybe when
Right.
the thing happens, you're like, oh, that's right, I knew about that.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier to like I heard so many Sopranos spoilers like
Right.
throughout my time before I watched it.
Yeah.
And then I was watching it and I was like, I heard some stuff. I don't know what any of that means. And then when I
Yeah.
was watching it and I'd hear Sopranos spoilers, I'd be like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean,
so I just recently we watched Monarch on Apple and also
it's a
Rust,
good show.
For All Mankind. But those I think they dropped all. Well, For All Mankind was a weekly thing, but either Monarch had already been out and I had only we watched 2 or 3 episodes a night.
Yeah.
And then so we just kind of sort of chose to binge it, but I'm not sure were those individual drops
They
those
were. I mean,
they were
Apple
weekly?
usually will. So Apple kind of
They
does
do
the
weekly, don't they? Typically,
they do weekly, but they'll drop the first 2 maybe
yeah.
to get your
Get you hooked in.
get you hooked
Yep.
in a little bit, and then they'll drop them weekly. So, which I'm fine with that. That's usually what Prime does. That's what Hulu does. That's what Apple does. I mean, 2 or 3 episodes. You can theoretically watch those in the first, like before the 4th episode airs or whatever. So the Fallout thing is really strange. And hopefully Prime is like, oh, whoops, we screwed the pooch on this. We won't do that for season 2. I mean, they probably just need to learn the lesson not to do it again, because the genre type shows are when people want to do these things that we're doing right now, which is talk about the show on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. They want to go on there and talk about the shows weekly. They're not going to get as many people talking about the show. I mean, it's just the way it is. So there won't be that social media push for people to go watch Fallout.
As you should always do with any situation, you should think about the pros and the cons of these things. And I see, and even think about the other side's arguments. And I see a lot of the pushback on this is, oh, well, you could just space it out week to week. But first off, the spoiler problem is an issue there. If you were to actually space it out week to week, you're going to run into probably plenty of spoilers on bigger shows for the binge model. But the real thing, the real pro and the counter to that argument is you could just binge it all when the show is out, which is a thing that where binge came from. We would buy DVDs of these shows and we would watch the entire seasons of shows when we got them at home. I 24. I spent a summer watching 24 on DVDs. I have them over there. They're not far from me right now.
We'd stay up till like 3:30 in the morning watching 24. It was horrible.
I remember it was one of my first summers, like sitting down watching something almost all summer, and I felt like, man, this is really unhealthy. So I was just sitting there.
Maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
Show. Yeah, right. But I was loving the show. I was like, this is fantastic. But yeah, I mean, you know, you're going to get a lot of you're going to get some detractors who want they crave the dopamine hit of the entire show. But I really think there are actually studies being done right now about this kind of thing. Like for your brain, it is actually better to do the weekly release than it is the binge.
Yeah, I can believe that.
But yeah.
Well, it's Netflix
I'm hoping
obviously created it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was obviously a Netflix, and Netflix is still #1 in the game as far as streaming. That can't be denied. They're the only somewhat profitable streaming service.
They told people we're going to cut off password sharing, and they made a bunch more revenue because people just went, okay, I'll pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and now they're going to have channels. Or Disney.
Yeah.
Well,
Disney's
a bunch of the streaming services are doing channels, though.
Yeah, because the idea there, and I saw somebody, I want to say it was Jake James Lugo, maybe he's a guy I follow on X, that he was just talking about how a lot of what people do with Pluto and services like that is just have stuff on in the background while you're doing stuff. And so if somebody can do that with Disney shows, then there's going to be a lot of people that do that.
Here's what I'd start doing if I were any one of these streaming services. I'd create a channel and then I'd put a small amount of ads on there, see how people take that. And you're then bringing in ad revenue.
You could even do it in between episodes, in between movies, because then not interrupt it.
Right, exactly.
That's what the BBC does. Like when you watch TV in the UK, that you watch a show, it finishes, and then you get commercials for like 7 or 8 minutes, then they start the next episode.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That's why they have weird episode start times.
Like 8:07 is the start of
Yeah, I mean, I can see that working. I mean, Hulu kind of does that, even if you're on with certain movies, even if you're on the ad-free tier, you'll still get maybe like an advertisement at the beginning of the movie, and then you won't get one throughout the
Paramount
whole film.
does that.
Yeah.
And Peacock, I think, has actually gotten pretty good about. They'll give you like 5 minutes of ads at the start of the movie, but then you won't get another ad. It's great.
Yeah.
And like I'll
They
take that every day of the week. I'll just mute
Yeah.
my TV and listen to a podcast
Sure.
for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
They're going to get
exactly.
smart about that when they mute. It's just going to pause the ad.
Yeah.
On Chrome, when you go to another tab and you're in an ad, it literally pauses the ad. On
No way.
something I use. Yeah, it's awful.
That's crazy. Well, okay, I think we're way off, but good. Not that it wasn't a good conversation, but I mean, I think we're at an hour and a half now, so let us wrap it up. Brian, off the grid, doesn't really want to be found too much, except for the Deucecast. He's hanging out in the Deucecast.
I'm also hanging out in an undisclosed hotel room tonight.
Oh yeah.
Never know where I could be.
That look like? That looks like a Hilton Garden Inn.
That's a Bonvoy something.
Nope, I'm a Hilton guy.
Yeah, that's why I said Hilton Garden Inn. Yeah, Bonvoy's Marriott.
You're close.
Right.
You're close.
Anyway,
I am off the grid, but I'm on the Deucecast. It's all good.
Yes, you are on the Deucecast hanging out there. Since I'm mentioning the Deucecast, that is the Discord server that we have for our podcast, the Deucecast movie show, which we're releasing a classic episode this week. I have no idea which one it will be. I requested one with Scott and Steve, so we'll see if we get a classic episode featuring Scott and Steve. It's really whatever David wants to put out there. I will find out in a couple of hours before I post the episode. But then next week, finally, the Deucey's payoff will happen next Wednesday. God willing. God willing, and the creek don't rise. But we'll see what happens. But yes, please, if you are watching this at a later date and you're like, hey, I want to join this Discord server, you can always email us at thedeucecast@gmail.com, or you can DM us on social media, and I can definitely send you guys a link. No problem there. Garrison, where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Instagram at GRYFUN3, GRYFUN3. You can find me in the pornbot cesspool of X.
What just
I
happened?
didn't know where you were going with that. You're right about that.
Yeah.
GRYFUN3. I love when I'm scrolling through Twitter today at work for a second, and there's just a naked picture of a woman in the replies, and I'm like, this is a great site.
I get so many. Hey, buy this Bitcoin through my link.
Right. Yeah. X is
I will.
A hot mess.
Yeah, it's having some difficulties. Anyway, find me on Letterboxd at GRYFUN. You can follow my, X-Men Fox rewatch journey. I'm thinking about doing the Fantastic Four films, but I could kick them out and do that maybe next year instead. So
yeah, you've got time. You've got time on that.
Yeah.
There's not much to miss there.
Dr. Earl off the grid completely. However, can be found, of course, every Tuesday on this show, well as the Deucecast. He's hanging out in the pretentious corner. The last couple of weeks, Dr. Earl has gotten to talk about many pretentious films, not only on the Deucecast movie show, but also on the Good Day for a Movie podcast.
Yes, it was so honored to be on the show with Jacob and Tate, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm listening to it, and I was like, man, I talked a long time about this one movie, and I was like, I'm sure those guys were like, we want to go eat a sandwich or something.
No, that's what the show's for. That's
it was an in-depth breakdown. And yes, Brian, we talked about the crying.
Oh, good. That was my main question. So good. Holly Hunter is amazing in that. I love her.
She's really good. Yeah.
Well, Roth, what is to come on the Good Day for a Movie podcast? I heard because I listened to the episode, but I will let you talk about it.
Yep. Good Day for a Movie podcast. Broadcast News was the last episode we had with Dr. Earl. So if you are wanting some new Dr. Earl content in addition to the classic Deucecast episode,
go to my Patreon.
Check that out, Broadcast News. I'll be honest, I did not. There was not much of an edit that went into that one. I started editing it way too late at night.
You had some pretentious music for me.
I did at the beginning, but the actual review of the movie, I was like, we went way longer than I thought I did, and I just kind of skimmed through and kind of took out some longer pauses and whatnot, and I was like, that's good enough.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I brought some pretentious music in for the start of the episode and a little nod to the Deucecast there. Next up, though, I believe we're going to be reviewing Civil War from Alec Garland.
Yeah.
Saw it this weekend. I liked it a lot. One of the best sound designs I've heard in
Man, the gunfire is
so good.
insanely
forever.
loud.
Yeah.
Intense, yeah.
Well,
It
he
was-
talks about that. He talked about how they amped that up on purpose. But yeah, because
it was so good. Like that sound design was just incredible.
Yes.
Jesse follow me,
Plemons.
Roth from Wyoming, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, Civil War, so good. Highly recommend. Even though it's going to make you extremely uncomfortable, that is the intent of the film. Go see it. War is bad. Whatever side you're coming at it from, war is bad, and that's kind of like the purpose of the movie. There's not much political stuff in it. Just go.
That was awesome.
It was great. Jesse Plemons, the best actor working. Okay, one of the best actors working that has not won an Oscar.
Well, slow your roll now.
Whoa.
Oh, bye, Uncle Brian.
Oh, Uncle Brian, his Wi-Fi went out. Anyways, we were wrapping up anyways. I really appreciate we didn't have we didn't have much activity in the live stream, but I do appreciate Podcast of the Wills popping in. Go check those guys out. Look Podcast of the Wills up to see what they are doing. They're always talking Star Wars every, I believe, Thursday. I want to say they talk Star Wars, and it's always a fun time over there. So I appreciate
Star Wars.
Streaming Stars. Yeah. Well, I think they've even changed the name. That's why I'm hesitant. I can't remember the name of the network. But but just look up Podcast of the Wills, and you will find the network that he is a part of. I appreciate him popping in. And yes, 3 Bad Batch episodes left, as he mentions. We're looking forward to that, and much more X-Men 97 to come. We will be back next Tuesday to discuss all said things. I appreciate everybody hanging out. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, all the fun YouTube things, and we'll see you guys next week.